Welcome to Zozo Marine Stadium in Japan, a stadium that is primarily used for baseball, plays host here tonight to X Games Chiba 2022 as we get set to bring an event back here to the X Games that's had almost a 2-decade hiatus. After 19 years, it is the return of BMX Flatland. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jimmy Coleman alongside Chris Doyle, and well, we've got 8 athletes in the field out here tonight, Chris, and we're going to change this up from the last time we saw Flatland contested at the X Games. Instead of individual runs, it's going to be a head-to-head bracketed formatted competition.
Yeah, super excited for this. Flatland is back in the X Games, back in the land of the rising sun here in Japan. I know that everyone's excited. I mean, in Japan, this is a place that grows Flatland. There's schools that are dedicated to the art of Flatland. And we're looking at our bracket format here. We got Varro Hernandez, Kiyo Hayakawa, and then Hitu Terry Adams, Matias Dandois, Vicky Gomez, Moto Suzaki, Yohei Uchino, and Alex Joomlin going head-to-head. So really, any of these 8 guys, it could anyone's game at this point.
Yeah, and if you're new to the X Games, you're wondering what exactly is Flatland. I mean, the best way to describe it, I mean, it's an art form. I mean, you're out here, there's no ramps involved. It's literally a wide open, flat level space. It's just you and your bicycle, and you have a blank canvas, if you will, to get out here and try to impress the judges. And like I said, we have not contested this since 2003, and now that it's back, it's big changes, because in the past, you had an individual run. They were about 2 to 3 minutes long. Here, I mean, the hits are going to start coming quick. We match them up in brackets. So we started off with Varro Hernandez, who is going to go up against Kiyo Hayakawa.
Yeah, and what a good battle to set things off. Really dig both of these guys' style. Love the way Varro Hernandez is going right into the time machine. He flips the bike over to keeping pressure on the cranks, keeping it going, keeping it spinning. Varro's got a really cool style. If there's one guy that could go the whole 90 seconds, it would be a guy like Varro. And then how would a guy like Hayakawa?
Well, now when you say going the whole 90 seconds, you see there's 2 time clocks up there next to each rider's name. Basically, you started off, the time starts when you do your first trick. You don't have to use all of that 90 seconds at once. You can go for 10 seconds, you can go for 30 seconds. They'll stop when they're done. They'll put their hand up. The time clock stops. It goes on to the next competitor. They'll use the amount of time that they choose, hand up, then it goes back to the previous rider until they've both used a full 90 seconds.
Yeah, similar to that of a breakdance battle. You know, as soon as Varro's done with his run, he puts his hand up, he stops his clock. It goes right back to Kiyo Hayakawa. But notice how Varro's going pretty long here. I mean, he's already crossed he's got 20 seconds left almost. Oh, and he comes off at the end, comes a little bit unglued. Now we get our first look at Kiyo Hayakawa.
He was the 2021 Nora Cup Awards Flatland Rider of the Year at 20 years, 2 months old. He is the youngest BMX athlete competing here at X Games Chiba.
Yeah, a bit of a back wheel specialist. Notice he's stopping that front wheel, going to the time machine, then he goes straight to the pedals, pulling the bike around, back onto the pedal, keeping it going. Not a lot of scuffing involved in Flatland these days. You notice how they compress the ground, they keep pumping that back wheel to keep the speed going. It's a good first showing from Kiyo right now. And you see, he used a whole lot less time than that of Varro Hernandez.
Yeah, so he puts the hand up right there, so that'll stop his clock at 1 minute. So he only used 30 seconds that go around, which puts Varro, he had a touchdown that last run, so now he's only got 19 seconds left here.
I love this. He starts off in a rocket, goes nose wheelie to can-can, flips it around with the hop whip to end things. That was a quick hit for Varro, as opposed to the very long length that he did it prior.
So changing up the strategy a little bit. Just under a minute here for Kiyo.
Kiyo flipping that bike around. Like I said before, a bit of a back wheel specialist, spends a lot of time on the back wheel. Going into the time machine, keeping it spinning. Another good showing for Hayakawa.
So he puts the hand up there, so he's just looking like he's going to break these runs up into thirds here. So one more go around here for Varro Hernandez, who's got 13 seconds left.
Started it off in the hang 5. Keeping it spinning. Oh, tries to go cross-footed. Puts the hand up, stops the clock, because he knew that he messed up. So, you know, he'll have 5 seconds to maybe get another link in.
It's good strategy right there. Give you at least one more opportunity to get out there and get one more trick, one more quick link in there to try to impress the judges.
I'm very much hoping that Hayakawa does this move that I saw him do on Instagram recently. It's looking like he's getting into it right now. Adjusting the cranks, and I think I know why. Goes into this, and then jumps it over to the decade and lands on the pedal. Now, I saw him stomp that. He put that on Instagram recently, where he stomps both pedals, so a little bit sketchy for him, but still didn't touch the ground.
Yeah, he kept the feet off of the ground there. So this is going to be the last go here for Varro Hernandez.
Just not Varro's day, showing the respect to the Japanese crowd. The Japanese are a very highly educated BMX Flatland crowd, so they know what's good and what's not. We see a couple of the street riders hanging out watching the Flatland event.
So Kyle's still got 7 seconds left here. Again, they each get 90 seconds total.
Well, I could see him going for that same link again and maybe cleaning it up a little bit when he jumps over to the decade. Oh! Coming out of the time machine, his foot was backwards on the pedal, just couldn't ride it out, but very impressive showing for Kaya Hayakawa.
So you will not see scores as we roll through this bracketed competition out here tonight. The judges will talk it over and basically decide which rider is moving on into that next round. As we take a look at some replays here, this is Varro who started us off.
Yeah, Varro went really long on his first hit. Getting a look at Hayakawa. I have my favorites, but I have a feeling I know who won this battle, but I don't like to say it because I'm not a judge. I let the judges do their job, I do mine, so, but I certainly, I don't know, it looked kind of like a clear-cut winner to me.
I would walk that plank with you and agree on that one there. See, right there, that was the save. So again, if you're new to this, it's very complex and it's a lot of different tricks that are linked up together, but the idea is that you want to get out of these, out of your links of tricks and get back to the pedals, and you don't want your feet to ever touch the ground.
Yeah, that trick was very reminiscent to that of a turn down, where you see where he's like locked into the turn down, jumps it over to decade. Very cool. Like I said, he put that on Instagram recently. Very good showing, Hayakawa.
So Kaya Hayakawa is going to move on into that next round. Again, great showing there by Varro Hernandez, but he gets eliminated here in our opening bracket of competition in the return of BMX Flatland to the X Games after 19 years. Last time this was contested was in 2003. That was the first year X Games found a new home in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you know, Flatland has really grown on its own. It kind of had to be taken out of the X Games and it went on its own path. You know, they have these big events, the flat arc events that are put on by another rider that we're going to see later, Yohei Uchino. So he's very familiar to this battle format. And it looks like our next battle is going to be Terry Adams and Matthias Dandois, which is, my goodness, seeing these guys in Heat 2, either one of these two could be a gold medalist here at this event. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top of this battle. Now, when they were doing the bracket system, they were just pulling names out of a hat. Originally, it was based on the world rankings, but they disagreed with what the X Games wanted to do there, and they said, hey, we're just going to draw it out of a hat. So they drew their brackets out of the hat, and you have what we see here. We got a good look at Matthias Dandois. He's a model slash actor slash professional flatlander, and he is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yeah, so basically is a true random draw to determine these brackets out here. And just because we haven't had Flatland here at the X Games over the last 19 years, it has been alive and well, and it is a thriving aspect of the sport in many countries, including here in Japan. As you mentioned before, lots of Flatland schools. There's special Flatland parks here devoted for these athletes to go and do this style of riding here.
Getting our first look at Mr. Terry Adams. Terry has really switched up his approach to riding. Oh, he dabs the foot, he puts up the hand, his run is over. Not what he wanted for his first leg. Now, Matthias Dandois, I have a feeling I know how he's gonna start his run. Likes to hype up the crowd, gets the crowd into it. He loves to do the 540 hop. You'll see him hop to 180, then he'll do a big 540 hop. That's typically how he starts his line. He says it loosens him up. Check him out. And there it is. That's how he loosens up.
It was absolutely effortless.
Yeah, Matthias has a style all his own. Grew up. Oh, look how he hooks the seat on his leg, takes the hands off during that spin, going into the snake spin, pulling it back around. And he spins so fast. Look at him taking the hands off, locking the pedal behind his calf, which allows him to take his hands off. Sometimes he spins the bars.
That is such control. This is his first ever X Games appearance, but he's a 9-time BMX Flatland world champion.
And the rocket spin, check him out.
He's just keeping this one going. He's just keeping the smooth links rolling here.
Going over to the time machine. That was a good first run from Matthias.
Yeah, he used quite a bit of time right there, but made excellent use of it right there.
Now, like I was saying before, Terry Adams has taken a different approach to his flatland riding. He's up at 3:30 in the morning working out. He's focused on his diet. He's getting instruction from Marty Kuopa, who was a 3-time X Games medalist. This is kind of signature Terry Adams right here with this move. Jumping to the back pegs. He's got a lot of these big, explosive moves. He's all about taking the big chances, big risks, and he's really fun to watch. Ending things out with the decade right there. That was a good showing. That was the showing that I think he wanted in that first link.
Yeah, he only had like 9 seconds come off the clock right there, so with step down, just raise the hand, save as much time as you possibly can. But yeah, that was definitely a much better start here in his second round.
Matthias getting back into it. Now, if you notice, Matthias is a guy that he can spend as much time on the back wheel as he does on the front. And whereas you see a lot of guys will either do only front wheel tricks, only back wheel tricks, Matthias really mixes it up. He's really good at improvising and changing for what he has to do. Taking that hand off, keeping the bike spinning. And he is hyped on that right now.
Just ended that one with 9 seconds left, so he's gonna get one more go.
Now keep your eye on Terry Adams here. I have a feeling we're gonna see some big tricks. He does a lot of tricks in which he jumps from one end of the bike to the other, flipping the handlebars around, keeping the bike up. All right, check him out here. He's in the hitchhiker. Big move coming up here, Jimmy. Jump into, oh, and he misses it. Unfortunate for Terry. Tried to save it, puts the hand up, stops the clock. You know, I've seen him make that trick plenty of times. It's very uncharacteristic of Terry Adams to miss that. Maybe he'll get it. He still has 33 seconds on his clock.
I was just gonna say, he still has quite a chunk of time left here. Again, regardless of what happens in each attempt, you do get to use all of that 90 seconds as the final seconds tick down here for Matthias Dandois.
And that's a solid showing. He had 3 impressive hits to the course. I say the course, but he had 3 impressive showings, each one different than the last. A lot of variety. Variety is important here. Showed you the back wheel tricks, showed you the front wheel tricks. Terry Adams has to answer with something incredibly difficult, and I think he knows it right now.
Terry will take us out of this bracket here with 30 seconds left to go here.
Jumping over the bike right there. Flipping the bike back around, cross-footed hitchhiker. Just pumping for the speed, looking at the clock during his link.
It's on the edge of the stage right there, coming out cross-footed and still had the presence of mind to look up at the time clock.
Check this out. Is he going to do the same trick that we saw him try? Oh, and going cross-footed.
What?
That was so difficult.
Finish.
And he is hyped on that. Terry recently posted a photo of him versus 2 years ago. He's dropped a lot of weight. He's solid muscle right now. He's taking his diet very seriously. He's taking his workouts very seriously. He's doing a lot off the bike as well as on the bike too. Take a look at Matthias Dandois, who did not mess up. Did not have one flawed run. Just consistent from beginning to end. But did he have enough difficulty in his runs to advance?
So again, no scores. The judges talk it over and they decide which rider is moving on to You can see that reaction right there by Matthias. That is exactly the runs that he wanted in this opening round here. Again, 4 head-to-head brackets to start off this opening round here at BMX Flatland. So it is Matthias Dandois who will be moving on to the next round.
And you see the camaraderie and the respect between these riders. They all have each other's backs. They're all excited to be here, to have Flatland back on the world stage.
It's been almost 20 years. I mean, 2000, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but look at the calendar, it was 19 years ago, 2003, the first year here in LA, Los Angeles. And runs were like individual runs, and they were like 2 minutes long back then.
Well, for those viewers that might not know this, my colleague here, Jimmy Coleman, was a bit of a road warrior for about 20 years, doing a lot of shows, a lot of Flatland legends such as Trevor Meyer, Aaron Banke, Gabe Weed. So what are some of the biggest changes that you're seeing based on your expert experience?
You spend a lot of time, and you're in some of the worst parking lots on the planet. You're doing a lot of state and county fair shows, and for a lot of that, we did a lot of NBA halftime shows as well, which is a different set of problems because the floor is super slippery, and you don't have a lot of room to work with there. But I mean, it's just, watching this evolve over the years, and I mean, just, a lot of these guys going brakeless, and just like the speed of some of the spins and whatnot. A guy like Matt Wilhelms, who I got to do shows with GT in some of the later years, I worked for them. Just the spins are insane, and just like how fast they link these things up. And I mean, some of the things that we saw Terry Adams do, those crossfoot moves, and just jumping from different parts of the bike. I mean, I'm so happy to have this back at the X Games.
And we got our rider in red ready to go, Mr. Vicky Gomez. Vicky's been around for a long, long time. He's competed in a few X Games himself. Oh, uncharacteristic, stepping off a little bit early on that one. Moto Suzaki is our next guy up, one of the Japanese favorites, a front wheel specialist. Watch some of the stuff that he can do on his front wheel. He can do a trick in which he's those bars just flipping so fast. He can do a trick where he's in a hitchhiker and he can flip the front wheel with his feet. Tire flip, maybe, look. Hooking that front wheel onto the crossbar while pumping, keeping the speed going, and solid first showing from Moto Suzaki.
Moto's actually a Chiba local, recently built a new house in Chiba. Runs a Flatland school in Chiba as well. So it brings back in Vicky Gomez.
Vicky's having a hard time today. His bike is all titanium. So it's super light, it's super strong, super stiff. Vicky's got such a deep bag of tricks that he has a whole arsenal to choose from. Showing you the consistent run now. He's messed up a couple times. Flipping the bike back around, going rocket. Keeping it spinning. Flipping the bars back around. Setting up for something here. Slowing down a little bit. Oh, and he flips the bike back around. I've seen him pull that trick countless times. Let's see if he can get it on his third hit. Looks like he's got time for a little bit more.
Yeah, he's still got plenty of time left, 40 seconds. He got into a bit of a groove there on that second attempt as we bring back in Moto Suzaki here, who's got a lot of time. Took a little over 20 seconds off the clock that last go around and picking up where he left off there.
Yeah, and you really have to keep an eye on his handlebars and how many times he's able to flip the handlebars around, jump around, going cross-footed, keeping it spinning. Like I said, a front wheel specialist. I would really love to see him do that wheel flip that I've seen online. He had a really bad ankle injury trying it, and that's another. It kind of ended the run the same way as he did in the first, but he's got about 30 seconds left.
I mean, he's on his way as of right now. Vicky had some problems there in that first run. Got into a bit of a groove there the second go around. Still plenty of time left here. He's got three prior. He's got 3 prior X Games appearances. His best finish was 5th. The last time this was contested at the X Games in 2003. That's the first slip up we've seen out of Moto.
Going back to what he knows, back on that front wheel. cross-footed, just spinning around, looking so casual. Style is important.
I mean, it's just effortless with the pump when he's in the rotations there. He makes it look so smooth, so dialed.
And I don't know if you saw it, but he jumps to his front wheel almost like he's trying to bend his front wheel. Hopefully his spokes are tight, but he jumps onto that front wheel back to the bike. We got Vicky going cross-footed, pulling it back. A little bit better of a showing on this run. Super good showing from Vicky Gomez on that one.
Well, he put his hand up, but Moto doesn't have any more time left, so you got to keep going, Vicky.
I've done some shows with Vicky. He's a true showman. He's, like I said before, he's got a deep bag of tricks to choose from. Would love to see him get that bike flip that he was trying in the 2 previous attempts.
Let's see if he can squeeze one more in for the buzzer.
Here we go, Jimmy. Ah! Unfortunate for Vicky, but always a pleasure to see him out here. Again, one of the elder statesmen of this crew. There's that camaraderie and respect between him and Moto. But man, that was, for Moto Suzaki, that was like a demo. And I know that he has more that he can show us.
Yeah, he was in a groove. I mean, he just looked so calm, so cool, so collected out there.
And you'll notice that a lot of these riders, the way that they ride is very showing of the culture in which they come from. Terry Adams is all about, he's the American. He's got the big tricks. He's got the big Showtime stuff. You take the Europeans, they look a little bit more stylish. They're dressed a little bit better. The Japanese guys, they're all about the hard, progressive tricks. The tricks that take hours and hours to learn and to master. So look at that. That's why I saw that from a different angle. I wanted to see it there. He jumps to that front wheel. I don't know how he keeps his front wheel true after that, but very impressive showing from Moto Suzaki.
So he is going to be moving on. Vicky Gomez will have to watch the rest of this unfold from the athlete staging area, and Moto Suzaki moving on into the next round. And that means, Chris, we have one more bracket left to go here in this opening round of competition. We have Yohei Uchino going up against Alex Joomlin. Yohei's hometown, Tokyo. Alex Joomlin, all the way from France.
Joomlin coming in at 44 years old.
He's competed every time Flatland has been contested at the X Games, with the exception of the first year, which was 1997, which was the first year that the X Games were in San Diego, and he missed the last one in LA in 2003.
Yohei Uchino, so fun to watch, but he is a rider that can blow up pretty easy. He's either on it or he's off of it. So what kind of day will this be for him? We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, Alex Joomlin, he's been around for so long. He's got such a deep bag of tricks. He can do all the hitchhiker tricks, the steamroller tricks. He can do a lot of the front wheel, back wheel stuff, but he's really developed a style that's all his own, and it's based around a lot of upper body strength, which we're gonna see. And he's able to keep a link going by going backwards a lot.
Yeah, he's been an active competitor in the Feast Contest Series all the way since 1997. So this is gonna be our last bracket here in this opening round, and it looks like Yohei is going to go first.
Yeah, and Uchi's the type, he doesn't go to a lot of the World Cup events. He doesn't go to a lot of events in general. So the judges and the riders are really excited to have him out here. He competes a lot in his flat arc competitions, of course, but like he's a little bit elusive. So I know a lot of people are looking forward to him. I'm not gonna name any names, but one of the other competitors say that Uchi is most likely to win. And again, I'm not gonna name who said that, but this is going to be a good battle. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I like it, foreshadowing. So I said that his hometown was Tokyo. He currently lives in Samukawa, a city of about 50,000 people, just about 90 minutes to the east of Zozo Marine Stadium, and we are in.
Watch how he can flip his bike, and watch where he lands when he does so. You really have to keep it, look at that. Flipping the bike, oh! Going into the backwards manual out of that bike flip. Had to step out of it.
It took about 26 seconds off the clock there. We'll take our first look at Alex Joomlin Born and raised in Paris, now lives in the south of France with his wife Elodie and their 3 sons, Jude, Gavin, and Nathan. Gavin and Nathan are both flatland riders at age 15 and 18.
See the way he keeps the link going by just rolling backwards. Watch how he switches so fast. You really have to have a keen eye for what he's doing. And we saw him earlier in the round, he does that 720 pivot on his front wheel, almost like a 720 G-turn. Rumor has it he has the 1080 G-turn as well.
Let's see if we see that later on in the round here. Back to Uchi. Just under 60 seconds left to go here.
Just hopping, trying to keep that bike up. Is he gonna go for the same length that he did before? Flip that bike around. Oh no! Well, it's like I said, Jimmy, he's the type of guy where when he's on, but he has the ability to blow up pretty easy. I don't want to throw him under a bus or anything, but I mean, he's got 48 seconds to pull a rabbit out of his hat.
So here we go. Our second look here at Alex Joomlin.
Oh, there he is going for that nose wheelie. Looks like he's gonna maybe go for the 720 pivot. Look at that. So much upper body strength. Hopping it out. Look at that. Are you kidding me?
Just quick and calls it right there. He's still got 57 seconds, so he's just throwing in a couple of quick hits here. Let's see how Uchi answers back here.
Yeah, Uchi's really reaching for this one.
He's gonna have to maximize every bit of this time.
Let's see if he can get it here. There, no. Just chasing that trick right now. He's got the smile on his face, but you can see the frustration as well.
It's just one of those things too that it just gets in your head after a couple of attempts. Round number 3 here, just under the 60-second mark left for our French competitor. And again, another quick hit right there.
But he can fit so much in just 5 to 10 seconds. He's so quick. You really have to keep an eye on what he's doing. Is Uchi going to keep chasing this, or is he going to move on to something else?
Yeah, you would think after a couple of attempts, just try to shake that off, go on to something else, come back to it.
No, he wants it, Jimmy. If for nobody else, himself and the Japanese fans, but it's just, you get stuck in broken record mode, it just starts getting worse and worse and worse. Personally, I would love to see him move on because I know he's capable of so much more.
Yeah, what you said, I mean, to echo what you said, I should say, you know, it's for yourself at that point. You know you can do it, it's just frustrating and it just gets in your head.
Alex Joomlin showing you that veteran experience. He's really changed up his style a lot in the past few years. See, look at that. Just flipping around the boomerang, getting me tongue-tied and twisted, keeping the link going. There's another boomerang. Throwing the bars. Just fits so much in a short amount of time. He's really cut out for the battle format.
I was going to say, you want to talk about time management. I mean, he's come out here now several times and just thrown a couple of quick links, a couple of heaters together. And each time taking about 9, 10, 11 seconds off the clock.
Uchi's still chasing this trick. Not at all concerned with what Alex Joomlin is doing. Just trying to do his own thing, trying to get this. And they really do feed off one another typically, but you can tell Uchi's in his own head. He's stuck in broken record mode. Joomlin's been on a tear though. Showing you that upper body strength, just cruising around, going 1080. Just keeping it rolling. Oh my gosh. Wow.
You can see he is absolutely feeling it right now. So with 7 seconds left to go here for Uchi.
That is so impressive.
Let's see what he can do with this last bit of time. Your 2012 BMX Rider of the Year Nora Cup Award winner.
Yeah, it looks like he's right back in there. Just wants this really bad. Let's see him get it, Jimmy. And there it is!
On the last, on the very last run.
I can't imagine flipping the bike around like that, landing on the pedals and keeping it in a backwards manual. Unfortunate for Uchi, but still heavily, heavily respected by all of these guys and the fans. Look at Alex Joomlin. Look at the control. Look at the way he's able to lock certain parts of the bike into his body to keep the bike elevated. He's still got a couple seconds left.
As I say, he looked like he was ready to tap out right there and realized, oh wait, I'm the only one with time left.
Yeah, he's really cut out for this battle format because he can just fit so much in. And he is just locking into that front nose wheelie.
And, you know, going back to what we were saying earlier, I mean, talk about time management. I mean, he had a couple of quick hits.
Yeah, and the G-turn stuff that he does is just mind-blowing to me. A lot of street riders took that to the streets with the nose wheelies on the ledge, brakeless, of course. But, I mean, just a testament to his upper body strength. We're seeing Uchi just chasing. This is the one that he got the closest to, unable to keep it up. Here's Alex Joomlin. Watch, see the way he's able to lock the bike under his foot there.
You just see how he pumps with that one leg and just little movements of the forearms right there to keep himself propelled in the middle of the turns.
I love a lot of the boomerang stuff that he does. Kind of ends it up right here. Just keeping the link going. Love it, the classic boomerang. At 44 years old, no signs of slowing down.
Not at all.
If he had been an irresponsible 16-year-old, he could have, Varro Hernandez could have been his son.
I wasn't told there'd be math tonight. So Alex Joomlin moving on. You don't need us to tell you that. You can tell by his reaction right there. So again, the camaraderie right there. So that was a big opening round. So 4 brackets down. So now we go into the semifinals as the X Games returns Flatland here after a 19-year hiatus. Our first 4 brackets are in the books. When we come back to Chiba, we will have the BMX Flatland semifinals. Welcome back, everyone, to X Games Chiba 2022 here in the Zozo Marine Stadium. We have just completed the opening round of bracketed head-to-head competition here in the return of BMX Flatland to the X Games. 4 riders have been eliminated, 4 riders moving on as we get into the semifinals. But what an impressive showing by Matthias Dandois, Kiyo Hayakawa, Alex Joomlin, and Moto Suzaki. Taking a look at just some of the pure control and skill that we saw here in that opening round, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, Moto Suzaki put on a demo during his runs. We watched Yohei Uchino chasing a trick. We saw the veteran Alex Joomlin doing his thing. Super impressive for the 44-year-old. Saw the 1080 G-turn, showing you that upper body strength. That was a lot of fun.
So now we get into the semifinal round. So it's Matthias Dandois going up against Kiyo Hayakawa, and then we'll see Moto Suzaki square off against Alex Joomlin. If you're just joining us here in this head-to-head bracketed competition, each rider will get 90 seconds. You go out, you start your run, and you've completed the number of tricks that you want for that particular point in time. You raise your hand, the clock stops, and then it goes on to your competitor, and then you trade off back and forth until both of you have elapsed your 90-second time clock. And no scoring here. The judges talk it over and decide which athlete is the better of the two, and we'll move on into the final round. So once again, we bring in Matthias Dandois out of Paris, France, 9-time BMX Flatland world champion.
He likes to go out there, he likes to have a lot of fun, he likes to hype up the crowd. Notice he's not starting off his link the same way that we saw him do it before. Starting off with the snake spin, going in, taking the hands off, locking that seat behind his calf, keeping it going. Loves to just gets going so fast, taking those hands off again, locking that pedal under his calf so it allows him to take his hands off, continue spinning while keeping the bike up. Matthias looked really good in that first round. It's going to be interesting to see how Kiyo can respond to what Matthias is doing.
See if he gets out of this link right here and almost taking out the camera guy right
going
there.
Into the time machine. Oh, and he's screaming. He loves it.
Wow. Did you see that finish? He took a lot of time off the clock with that one too, but I mean, it was all smooth, it was all fluid. I mean, picked up where he left off from that last round.
I talked to Matthias before the event. He said he's got a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, so he can really pivot, no pun intended, from what the other riders are doing. He can adjust on the fly. We're getting our look at Kiyo Hayakawa here. For the host country here in Japan.
Kiyo started learning flatland tricks when he was just 12 years old. Says he was inspired early on by seeing videos of Australian rider and X Games Los Angeles Flatland champ, and one of our judges here, Simon O'Brien.
Oh yes, sir, Simon O'Brien, a bit of a legend in Flatland right now. Now we're seeing Kiyo, go into this spin, check him out, going into the time machine. Oh, and he pulls it off perfectly. When he's done with that link, his foot is completely backwards on the pedal. There's so many different versions of the time machine where you can do the cross-footed, the switch-footed, and it just happens so fast that it's very difficult to call. We're getting another look at Matthias Dandois going back and on that front wheel. He's one of the riders that has a lot of variety, both on the front and back wheel. The guy that we see really doing both. Doesn't just focus on one or the other. But he's been virtually flawless all evening.
Yeah, he was on point into that opening round, and that first run was pretty flawless here in the semifinals. Look,
this is signature Matthias.
He pumps through this.
He likes to get that bike down low, and usually you see him take his hands off and keep the bike spinning. Didn't do it on this time. Maybe he'll get it going here. Look at that.
I mean, no bobbles right there. Not once did that ever look jerky or mechanical. I mean, it was one fluid motion.
With Matthias, style is everything.
Speaking of style, he's kind of got that hybrid flatland street style, and what you just saw right there was evidence of that as we take another look at Kiyo Hayakawa.
You can see the way Kiyo's adjusting his pedals a little bit while going into, wow. The way that he got into this trick, so crazy. Again, ending it with his foot backwards on the pedal. It's a hard one to call right now between Matthias and Kiyo right now.
Yeah, this is a chess match going on right now. They just keep answering back. Although Matthias has 1 second left on the clock when he comes back out here, but Kiyo hanging. Oh, look at that save. Again, you do not want to touch the ground.
Just had to hop it out, keep it going into the junkyard to Decade, and he slips the pedals, lands on the seat. But that was a good showing. He had to save it a couple times. We saw the way that he was hopping. Dandois is just gonna round us out. This is all moving so quickly right now.
Kiyo just used up the rest of his time right there. Was it perfect? No, but it was a save, and he made it happen. I mean, talk about forcing your will on that one.
Oh, I love it. Now keep an eye. Now Dandois has been known to do this boom. Well, he calls it. Is Dandois saving something? Because I know that he has more in the tank. I know he has a couple tricks that I haven't seen him do yet, and this is a hard one to call, Jimmy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, those opening rounds, they were just answering back.
Here we get a look at Matthias. Again, virtually flawless all day long. Foot on the pedal, reaching over with that other foot. He's a tall, lanky guy, but his top tube looks like it's 21 1/4, whereas a lot of these guys are riding really small frames, but his bike looks like a street bike.
Taking a look at some highlights here from Kiyo. Back to Matthias. Just volley after volley here. Look at that. One hand off, 1 foot off.
Now I like this a lot. This is where Kiyo goes from the, this is where he had to save it right here. I thought this is where he went into the junkyard, but just has to hop it out a little bit.
Did you see the look on his face? It was like, hang on, hang on. It was a heck of a save right there. That was his last run. So Kiyo is going to move on.
Well, I think Dandois was a little bit more consistent, but I think Kiyo had the more difficult moves. So I think that's why he's moving on.
So to explain that, again, there's no scoring. It's the judges having a conversation and deciding which rider moves on. We don't want to say it's overall impression. They're looking at, I mean, they're breaking down the minutia of each and every single trick to decide, when they have that conversation, to decide who they feel should be moving on into that next round.
I had a conversation with Ephraim Catlow, our head judge, and he said he wants to see the most progressive, difficult tricks, and he wants to see a lot of them. So it doesn't really matter if you dab a foot every once in a while, but they want those difficult tricks. They want them done cleanly. They want good style. So there is a bit of overall impression, but I don't think it's the most important thing. We saw right there, Dandois was the more consistent, but Kiyo had the more difficult tricks.
Yeah, they want to see that technicality. They want to see that innovation. So it's Kiyo Hayakawa moving on to the gold medal round as we look at our final semifinal matchup here. Moto Suzaki from right here, Chiba, going up against Alex Joomlin. So Matthias didn't make it to the final round. However, he's still going to get a chance to battle that out for a bronze medal. So his night is not done. So you will see more of Matthias Dandois out here this evening. The matter now becomes, who does he square off against for that bronze medal? Will it be Moto Suzaki or Alex Joomlin? One's moving on to a potential gold medal round with Kiyo Hayakawa. The other will see Matthias Dandois.
Now this is going to be such a tough one to call. Moto Suzaki has so many difficult tricks and he's so consistent, but can Joomlin pull out something? Joomlin has such a deep bag of tricks. He has such a variety to choose from. See Moto back on that front wheel.
Both of these guys had a great opening round. Lots of style, lots of consistency to get out of their opening brackets to make it here into the semifinal.
locking one foot on the crossbar of his handlebars, the other foot on the pedal, keeping it spinning while pumping the ground. That is so, so difficult. Good first showing from Moto Suzaki.
It's the battle of France versus Japan here in the semifinals. Both of our matchups featuring a French rider and a Japanese rider.
And keep your eye on what Alex Joomlin is doing. He moves so quick. He's able to switch from one thing to the other so fast. It's so hard to keep track of.
Alex says he is a BMX Flatland lifer, started riding in 1988, turned pro in 1996, says, I've never stopped since then. Comes Moto Suzaki. Oh, just having a little slip up here. 30 seconds down, a little under 60 seconds left to go here for Moto.
Oh, doing the full bar flip on that one. Keeping it going, keeping it spinning.
He's a 16-time Japan Championships winner, won his first one back in 2006. Known for his front wheel style.
And Alex Joomlin has been around for so long that a lot of the younger riders now are doing a lot of his original tricks that he created. Look at that seat under his arm. Oh, go.
Look at that flow. And again, I mean, he's doing the same thing clock management-wise that we saw him do in the opening brackets.
Yeah, just quick hits, gets a lot in a short amount of time. Moto Suzaki coming back in. Watch this, Jimmy. Full bar flip, landing back on that front peg. Pumping for speed, getting a lot of speed going here. What's he gonna finish with? Going back. Oh, he has to step out.
That's a tough one there. Still has 23 seconds left. Alex Joomlin, though, still has a full minute left to try to impress the judges here in our second final semifinal matchup.
Showing you that front wheel control again, just hopping it out. And it really looks like Alex Joomlin is just doing his own thing out there. He's not reacting off what Moto Suzaki's doing. Seems like he has a plan and he's just sticking to it.
Okay, so 30 seconds left for Alex Joomlin. 23 left here from Moto Suzaki.
Looks like he's chasing this link right here. Keeping the speed going. Oh, and once again has to step out of it.
Yeah, the problems continue here.
He's not stopping the clock. He's going to keep going.
He's going to ride this out until the clock winds down for him.
Ah, and he's just not feeling it. You know, you miss a beat, you lose the rhythm sometimes.
So that's going to bring Alex back out for a full 36 seconds here. He's not just the elder statesman in the group here in Flatland. He's the oldest competitor overall here out of all of the contested events here at X Games Chiba.
Look at this. Wow. Oh, showing you that front wheel control again. So much upper body strength in his riding. Really developed a style that's all his own. He's really had to adjust his style over the last couple of years. Showing that Vader nose wheelie, rolling backwards. There's that boomerang, still keeping it going. kind of reminiscent of Dennis McCoy back in the 80s, just like the modern day DMC.
Well, that was really one of the first slip-ups we've seen out of him out here tonight. So now it's in the hands of the judges.
And it really looks like Joomlin's having fun out there. He's always got the smile on his face.
It's that showmanship.
Yeah.
It's years of traveling around the world, doing shows, getting out there playing to the crowd.
Moto Suzaki was chased. Well, this was one of the links that he pulled perfectly. Foot on the pedal, foot on the crossbar of those handlebars, keeping it spinning. But he had a little bit of trouble in a couple of the other hits that he had. Love that big bar flip right there.
It's just cross just up over the bars right there. But again, the smoothness, the fluidity continued here in this semifinal round for Alex Joomlin.
Wow. There's that camaraderie, that respect. The world's biggest stage for Flatland right now. These guys are hyped.
So who is it going to be? Who's going to join the gold medal ranks with Kyle Hayakawa? And it's going to be Alex Joomlin's going to get his shot to try to earn a gold medal. So he will move on. However, we have one more bracket to go before we get to that gold medal round. Moto Suzaki, again, down but not out. He will square off next against Matthias Dandois for the bronze medal. So now what this means, Alex Joomlin is assured a medal. It will be his first X Games medal because his best two finishes were 7th place prior. He got that in 2000 in San Francisco, and in 2002, the final year X Games was in Philadelphia. So we know he's getting a medal. The question is, what color is it going to be?
Man, the look on Moto's face there for a second was just a look of heartbreak.
We have 2 more brackets still to go. Who's taking the gold? We'll find out when we come back to Chiba and our bronze medal round with Matthias Dandois and Moto Suzaki.
Okay, we're back in the men's BMX Flatland final. Yes. Okay, this is the battle, and we're moving on to the final and bronze match. But there are a lot of like superstars from all over the world. こうやってみんなが世界中の
Welcome back, everyone, to Zozo Marine Stadium here in the Chiba Prefecture. It's X Games Chiba 2022. We are down to our final 2 matchups here in the return of BMX Flatland to the X Games. Jimmy Coleman here alongside Chris Doyle calling the action here. We started off with our bronze medal match. Matthias Dandois going up against Moto Suzaki. So these two are going to have to battle it out to see who walks away with the bronze. Again, each rider has 90 seconds to try to impress the judges out here. You go out, you do a link of tricks, you put your hand up, time stops, goes over to your competitor, and they go back and forth like that until each has run through the 90 seconds.
Looking at Moto Suzaki going cross-footed, showing you the spin there, keeping that. He's the front wheel specialist, dabbing that back wheel a little bit. And there's that front wheel trick that he does where he jumps onto the front, almost jumps onto the spokes of that wheel and then back onto the bike.
Well, he was struggling there in that semifinal round, but you can see it's a different look on his face this go around. He started off in a different mindset there. You take a look at Matthias Dandois.
Yeah, and I talked to Matthias. Matthias really wants to get a medal here at X Games because when he first started, he started riding in 2002. And Flatland was in the X Games, and it was the first place that he'd seen Flatland. So this is a big deal to him. Oh, check that out. He's gonna get this spinning. Usually he takes the hands off here. Let's see if he does it. There it is. Usually he can hold that for a little bit longer.
It's so low, and you see bends the knees and just pumps through that, and it spins so fast. And while you're spinning that fast, to be able to take your hands off the bike, that's insane.
I think that Matthias has the consistency. I think that Moto has the more difficult tricks. It's a matter of can Moto pull it off? We'll have to wait and see.
Moto kind of got into his own head in that semifinal round that put him here in this bronze medal matchup.
Going cross-footed, you saw how he was dragging the handlebar on the ground there. That's signature Moto Suzaki. Dandois back in. He's got about 45 seconds left on his clock.
You come back out, the time does not restart until you start to roll into your first trick.
Getting into it, taking the hands off, locking that seat behind his leg. We saw a lot of him on the front wheel in his first hit. Now he's back on that back wheel. A lot of variety. Taking the hands off again, keeping it going. Oh, and he's got to put the foot down.
Yeah, just struggled a little bit right there. Just kind of lost momentum and just had to dab that foot for a second. Let's see if he keeps going here or taps out of this one with a little bit of time left.
So similar to what we've seen, doing kind of the same length that we've seen. I think in this case, you want to give the judges a little something different to look at, but he is hyped on that one. He changed it up at the end. He jumped to the pedals. He is hyped.
Thought he was going to save a couple of seconds right there, but no, the time has ticked down to 0 for him, so that'll do it here for Matthias Dandois in the bronze medal matchup.
Well, Moto's got the floor all to himself now. There's that trick we saw him do prior where he puts the foot on the crossbar and the other foot on the pedal. And he has to lean it down a little bit. Not sure how the judges are going to score that, but all this stuff is so, so difficult. Not a ton of variety. Spends most of his time on the front wheel.
Let's see if he can finish stronger. You can see the body language is a little different there at the end of each link. Got to get back into that groove, though.
Keeping that speed going, pumping. Goes into the hitchhike for a second, pulls it back around.
Just under the final 10 seconds here.
Passing the bike around his back, now standing cross-footed, and he
Switches
pulls himself back around.
How did that happen?
And he saves it. Oh,
wow. I talked about finishing strong and finding that groove and getting out of this with confidence. And man, what a finish that was right there from Moto Suzaki.
Now you notice he didn't officially jump back to his pedals at the end of that. It's going to be interesting to see how the judges score that.
I think Matthias thought he had more time left as he came back out, but the clock shows that that is not the case.
I love this right here. This is signature Matthias Dandois. Takes the hands off. Sometimes, usually he takes those hands off a little bit wider, but the judges have seen him do that one before.
Just look how he locks in with the seat against the back of the knee there to enable him to do that.
I love this spin. Foot on the crossbar, another foot on the pedal. And the way that Moto ended was so impressive, but at the very, very end, he jumped off the bike. Are the judges gonna deduct points, or are they gonna reward him? Because his stuff was just so difficult.
Yeah, at that point, the clock had hit 0, so again, no scores. It is a conversation in the judges' booth, and it's Moto Suzaki who's gonna walk out of this with the bronze. So after some slip-ups there early on, he gets into the groove late and finishes strong, and he will take the bronze medal here in Chiba. With the return of BMX Flatland at the X Games after a 19-year hiatus.
And 1 round to go, Jimmy. Kiyo Hayakawa versus the elder statesman, Mr. Alex Joomlin.
So this is for the gold, and ironically, it's the oldest competitor in the field, actually the oldest competitor out here at X Games Chiba all across the board, going up against the youngest competitor in the field, Alex Joomlin at 44 years old, and Kiyo Hayakawa at 20 years old. So they're both assured a medal. The question is, what color medal are they walking out of here with? Alex Joomlin on your left, Kiyo Hayakawa on your right. Alex is gonna start us off. But how about that performance by Moto Suzaki there at the end of that last matchup to earn that bronze?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the hardest tricks we've seen so far this evening. Look at the respect between these guys. Hugging and just, Kiyo looks like he's about to cry. Just to be in this position on the world's biggest stage, to be in his home country and battling for the gold medal here at X Games. I would love to see him clean up that junkyard to decade. We haven't seen him really land on the pedals clean yet. We saw him one time land on the seat. We saw him one time miss the pedals completely.
So here we go. Alex Joomlin gets the party started here in the gold medal matchup again. 90 seconds per rider. Who is taking the gold? It all comes down to this last bracket right here. And Alex Joomlin picking up right where he left off. He has been super consistent out here tonight.
And that was just shy of 20 seconds. All the tricks that he fit, he's just able to fit so much in such a short amount of time.
It's these quick little bursts. He just gets out there, puts it together fast, save that energy.
Oh, Kiyo saves it somehow. Jumping to that back peg. Didn't think he was gonna pull that one together, and he pulls it out. Getting that speed, getting that momentum going again. Pulling it back around the back. He's gonna finish strong with something here.
I was gonna say, let's see how he gets out of this. Just
he's got a long link going here.
I see so many tricks in this link right here. And look at that speed.
Joomlin is on his feet. He's hyped.
Right back to the pedals. That was a big link right there for Kiyo Hayakawa.
Wow, what is Alex Joomlin going to answer with after seeing that? Wow, check out Joomlin. In the crowd, we have some of the best skateboarders in the world. We have some of the best street riders in the world watching Alex Joomlin finish things off with the decade right there. I don't know, this is a close one to call.
Yeah, you got some of the skate crowd lurking in the background there, checking out some Flatland. I mean, for some of those guys, they're not even old enough to remember the last time we contested this thing at the X Games.
Kyo flipping the bars around. This is kind of like his signature, how he likes to link things up, gets those pedals straight. Oh, and look at this. Going back over to the other peg. He's been so consistent. He's been like a quiet competitor in this. Oh, and he pulls it out. At the end of his run, I never think he's gonna get it together, but he always gets it together right at the end.
Just pulls it in at that last second, so he's gonna tap out with about 18 seconds left to go. Alex still has 53 seconds left to try to impress the judges here. Again, this is our gold medal matchup here.
Look at this.
It's the Frenchman Alex Joomlin going up against the Japanese competitor Kyo Hayakawa.
The originality that Joomlin has when he does those G-turns like that, just keeping all the pressure on the front wheel, that is so difficult, it requires so much strength. Here we go with Kyo. Oh, first time he stepped off all evening, really.
Okay, so he's got 9 seconds left. He'll get one more go at it. So Alex, again, with that strategy of quick hits, I mean, he's still got quite a bit of time.
Love the way he starts that link off. Keeping that back wheel off the ground. A little bit different approach here. And he switches so fast. Oh! That is so difficult.
Okay, so 26 seconds left for him. This will probably be it for Kyo here. Last chance to see him in this gold medal matchup.
Looks like he's kind of been chasing this same line all evening. Adjust the pedals. Passing the bike around his back. This is where he goes into that junkyard to decade, and he lands it clean. That's the cleanest he's done that all evening. We saw him one time miss the pedals. We saw him one time land on his seat, but he gets it when it counts. So thankful not to be a judge during these events.
So the final 26 seconds belong to Alex Joomlin. As we mentioned before, this will be his first X Games medal.
Well, the floor is all his, just keeping the rotations going. Are you kidding me?
Oh, really?
He's got plenty of time if he wants to get that one.
I don't see too many hiccups out of him tonight. As I was saying, he's getting a medal. He'll be happy with the silver. He'd love to leave with the gold, but either way, he's getting out of here with some X Games hardware.
He was chasing that one pretty hard. We saw the 720 pivot on the front wheel. We saw the 1080. And wow.
And again, the camaraderie, the sportsmanship. I mean, what a great night. I mean, you know, we've had some epic head-to-head battles out here.
Boy, who would you pick to get the gold? Who would you be most excited? The oldest competitor in X Games Chiba, or would you rather see the new fresh face Kyo get it in his home country?
Taking a look at some of the highlights here from our final round.
Oh, that was a big save right there. Keeping it on the peg. Look at Alex Joomlin just hyping up Kyo. What a great showing from this young man in his home country, in the land of Flatland.
You know, to the night that Alex Joomlin's had, as mentioned before, 5 prior appearances. His best finish ever was 7th place in 2000 in San Francisco, and then again in 2002 in Philadelphia. Other than that, he had a 9th in 1999, 10th in Philadelphia in 2001, and an 11th at his first ever X Games back in 1998. A walk out of here in 2022 with a medal. Hats off to you, Alex Joomlin, at 44 years old.
Here we go, Jimmy.
Here comes
Knuckles
the
up.
big reveal. Who's walking out of here? And it's Kyo Hayakawa is your gold medalist. And Alex Joomlin takes home the silver.
Wow. Wow, the local kid in his home country, winning it in front of the home fans. feel really good for Kiyo Hayakawa right now. And Alex Joomlin, the 44-year-old, getting the silver medal, finally getting a medal after all these years. Moto Suzaki in the bronze position, and the tears are real, the emotion is real right there. That's what it's all about.
I mean, you couldn't ask for a better story. This is the 64th time the X Games have been contested. It's the first time it's ever been contested in Japan. After 19 years, BMX Flatland returns. This sport is absolutely huge here in this country, and you have 2 Japanese riders on the podium, including your gold medalist.
Yeah. Feel really good for Kiyo right now, getting the big win, getting embraced by Vicky Gomez right there, probably a guy that he looked up to his entire life. You love to see the emotion. You know what it means to these guys to be out here competing on this stage.
Yeah, and I mean, also have to give a shout out to Matthias Dandois, who settles for 4th out here tonight. I mean, he had an epic night, but just falls short. But when it's all said and done in the bronze medal matchup, it's Moto Suzaki that emerges the victor there. And when it came down to that final matchup, the elder statesman gets his first medal, has to settle for silver, and it's the young gun at 20 years old, Kiyo Hayakawa, who takes gold with the return of BMX Flatland.
Yeah, after, like you said, after almost 20 years, we're back. We had one heck of an event here tonight. I think everyone really put on a great performance, but in the end, it's all Kiyo. You know, his Australian sponsor right now, you know they're watching, you know they're excited.
And that battle bracket format, I mean, I love the way that we did this year, where it's go out, put together some tricks, put your hand up, time stops, trade off, and go back and forth. It made for some exciting Flatland riding out here. Your final thoughts, Chris Doyle?
Well, my mind is blown, just tongue-tied and twisted with all these guys and what they're able to do on a flat surface like that. Very impressive tonight.
Well, it has been an epic night of competition here at X Games Chiba 2022. Flatland, we're happy to have you back after 19 years when it's all said and done. Moto Suzaki with the bronze, Alex Joomlin silver, and Kiyo Hayakawa takes the gold.